Here is a demo of the employee review software. So when you first load it up, the user information window pops up and it lets you know who you are that is logging into the software. It uses your Windows login to authenticate you, and so it's just letting you know, hey, by the way, you're logged into Windows as this guy, so if it's not you, log out and log in as you to Windows, basically. So we hit continue, and then it pops up with this screen here. Now, these are the different assessments. So like you might have a July 2016 assessment and maybe a spring 2017 assessment or something like that. And inside of the assessment, there is a list of surveys, and you might have a survey for accounting and IT and sales, and basically a survey is just the list of questions, and the assessment is like the event of reviewing the company, right? So I've created two assessments, cross-department survey sample and a simple survey sample. So the reason why I did both of these is because I know that that Ken had requested that we have a survey for each department, and any questions that cross over between those departments, like do you show up on time or things like that, just put them in every survey. But there's another way that this system works that I wanted to convey to you guys, is that you can have a user take multiple surveys fairly seamlessly. And so you can have an IT specific survey, like in here you have an IT specific survey, but then you can also have a general survey that everybody takes, or that a certain group of people take that aren't in IT, right? And so I'm going to show you both ways of using the system. Both are just fine, and you guys decide what you want to do. But I'm going to show you both ways in this demo so you have an understanding of how it can work. So let's start with the simple survey sample, and this is again with where the questions for each survey are duplicated across the surveys, as opposed to having a second survey with cross-department questions on it. So we have an accounting, IT, and sales survey, and if I open up the survey builder, if I can click this button here, it brings me to my survey builder. This is where I add and remove questions. I can hit the add button to add a new question, and when I click on the survey question here, I can add and remove different responses. Right now I have everything just set to 1 through 5, but I could add a response that says like good, great, best, better. I can add whatever responses I like in here to show up for the options that the person taking the survey can choose. So I build out my survey. Oh, and one more thing too, notice that there's a weight. So I could weight each question. If I thought one question was more important than another, I could give it a weight of maybe 1.5, or if a question was less important, I could give it a weight of 0.75, and it would multiply that times the value over here on your response to give you a weighted score based on the importance of your questions. But for now, everything's just set to 1, so there's no weighting involved on all these surveys. So that's the survey builder. The next thing I want to show you is the review matrix. When you click on the review matrix, it brings up this screen here. Now you'll see that all of our employees going across the top and all of our employees going down. I only have 4 in here. I made one for Chris and me, and then employee 1 and employee 2. Nothing magical, but ultimately this would have all of our employees that were in the company in this matrix. And then across the top is our reviewers, and down the side is the reviewees. And so if I was going to review Chris Martin, I would check this box here, because this means David Poston is going to review Chris Martin, and David Poston is going to review himself. And if Chris Martin was going to review employee 1 and employee 2, it would look like that. And so you just check the boxes, and it saves it, and then that's that. One more thing I'm going to show you is that there's a Manage Employees section. You click on that Manage Employees button, and it brings up this window, and you can add new employees with all their information here. And so we could just add all the employees to this list, and then they would show up on the review matrix. Notice that there is a permissions level, so people without permission level 10 can't create surveys or assessments or do anything destructive to the system. So there's permissions levels. But let's start by going to the IT assessment survey, and we're going to go to the review matrix, and I'm going to review Chris Martin. And so we will hit close on that, close on that, and then, oh sorry, I'm logged in as me. I'm not going to review, no, I'm going to review Chris Martin again. So then when I hit start assessment survey, well actually let me show you one more, let me change it. Let me add myself as well. So we're going to review Chris and myself. So I close this, and then now it's been set up. So an administrator would settle these up, and they would decide who is going to review who and all that stuff. And then once that's been set up, any user would just log in and click the Start Assessment Survey button. Boom. And it just goes through all of the surveys that they have been assigned to, or all the reviews they're assigned to make. So this is what will pop up for any given user that was doing a review. You'll see that you can see that it's a simple survey sample that we're doing, simple survey sample, and it's the IT survey, or sorry, this is the assessment, simple survey assessment, and like I said, this might say like fall of 2016, and this is the survey we're taking, which is the IT survey, and we're reviewing Chris Martin. And so I can say, well, how well does this person interact with others? Well, a 4, let's say, and how does he arrive? Yeah, sure, he shows up to work on time. Is this person good at IT? Yeah, he's pretty good. If I want to leave notes, I can say, yeah, but needs to tuck his shirt in, or whatever. I can leave notes or comments, and I hit Save Review. And now, it just went to the next page. It just flips through all the different reviews that I have to make, and now it's the simple survey sample assessment and IT survey, but I'm reviewing David Poston now. And you can see I have 1 of 1 left to review. Before I clicked save, this said 1 of 2. So I'll give myself a 3 and a 3 and a 3, and I'll, you know, he's dead sexy, whatever, and say review. And then now it says there's nothing left to review. The review's done. So that's the way that that would work. Now let's try the cross-department survey sample. So in the cross-department survey sample scenario, I would go into the assessment survey, and I would go to the review matrix, and now I'm setting up the review matrix for the cross-department survey sample assessment and for the IT survey, and again I'm going to review Chris and I'm going to review myself. But then also I would go into this general one, and I would go to the review matrix, and I'm also going to review Chris and myself. Now notice that when I go to the survey builder, there's only one question in here. Are they good at IT? But there's 2 questions in here. How well does this person interact with others? Does this person arrive on time? Because these questions apply to everybody in every department. This question only applies to IT. Unlike this sample survey, this simple survey sample, when I go into this, it has all 3 questions on one sheet. But the only one that really applies only to IT is this one here. So I'll just explain to you how that's going to work from the end user's perspective. So they log in, they hit Start Assessment Survey, and it brings up this window. We're doing the cross-department sample survey, the IT survey, and we're reviewing Chris Martin. Is he good at IT? Sure, he's good at IT. So we hit Save Review. Okay, we're doing the same thing for David Poston. The IT survey for David Poston, sure, he's good at IT as well. So we hit Save Review. But now it says we're doing the general survey for Chris Martin. Okay, so this is general questions about basic business practice. Does he interact with others? Yeah, he's good with others. And he shows up on time in good working condition. Save Review. And now I'm doing the general survey for David Poston. And same thing. We'll just put the same things and Save Review. And now we're done. And so the advantage to doing it this way is that when we hit our review results button, it groups things together. So it makes it easier to compare for reporting purposes. But let's go ahead and see what the results look like. We can hit Review Results, and it brings up this window here. And so from here we can choose our assessment that we want to see. We're gonna first look at the simple survey sample, and we're gonna choose, sure, we'll just choose Chris Martin, and we hit Get Results. And now notice that this is the summary, and it says that on there was 1 review that answers each of these questions, and the value was 5 here, 4 here, and 4 here. The average score is 4.33. There's a signature line so that we can print this out using the print button, and you can present it to your employee and say, here's what the review you got, and they can sign it and agree to it. You can do the detail and hit get results, and it will show basically the same information. This is for management only, but you can see who reviewed them, what scores they gave them, and the date they reviewed them. And again, you would never show this to the employee because it's supposed to be anonymous reviewing, but nonetheless, they can see that. Now, if I go into the cross-department sample survey, now mind you, this is the one with the 2 survey questionnaires that were split up. We can hit get results. And then we have the general survey, and we have the answers to that survey, and the IT survey, and the answers to that. It still gives them an average score that equals the same, but what that does is it allows you to group all the questions that everybody in the entire company had together. And again, you could still group them together by just making by typing the questions out exactly the same on all the surveys and then grouping them together in Excel or something. This is just another way to do it. So, and again, you can see the detail, and you can hit get results, and it looks like this. And click the print button and print it out. So that's the gist of the software. You know, I did this because I know we had a hard time getting together for a meeting yesterday. So I figured I'll just put this video together, send it to you, and hopefully this will be good enough for a demo. And you can call me with any questions you have. So there you have it.